And the Wealthy Teacher Show is brought to you by the Philanthropreneur Foundation, building capacity of nonprofits through education, awareness, and resources. Also, Las Vegas Health and Fitness Chamber of Commerce. Also, the Philanthropreneur Foundation Training Center. We're Nuts and Bolts nonprofit training first Tuesday. We also have Fundraising Fundamentals by Linda Lizakowski. Lunch and Learn series every second Thursday. And the Philanthropreneur Peer Circle. And welcome to the the Wealthy Teacher Show. We are so excited to be here again, and I have a fantastic guest today. The Wealthy Teacher Show is live from Las Vegas, Nevada, featuring individuals, our wealthy teachers, from businesses and nonprofits having impact in the community. And I'm your host, Dr. Victoria Boyd. And as I said, I'm really excited to have our guest today, Linda Smith. Welcome to the show. Linda is probably recognizable because she is a fundraising pillar of Opportunity Village for over 40 years. That's pretty impressive. 40 years is a pretty long time. But she's here to talk about the debut of her first book. It's called Unwanted: How a Mother Learned to Turn Shame, Grief, and Fear into Purpose, Passion, and Empowerment. I love those three words. They really speak to me. But before we get into the book, because we're going to talk a lot about that, let's get to know, who is Linda Smith? Are you originally from Las Vegas, or did you come here early in life? For 40 years, hey, you've been here.
I know, and a lot of people think that I'm the founder of Opportunity Village, but I'm old, but I'm not that old, because that place has been around 65 years. But no, I'm born in England,
Okay.
Raised in Toronto, and sort of lived this strange upbringing. I was homeless as a child.
Okay.
Taught myself to dance. I know that you're a dance
Dancer here.
teacher. And became a dancer entertainer in Canada.
In Canada.
And subsequently married an entertainer who was living here in Las Vegas.
Okay.
He was Canadian, but he lived in Las Vegas.
And so that's how you
And
migrated.
that's how I got to be, I landed here in Las Vegas.
And how many years ago was that?
Oh gosh, that was in the early 80s.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah. So, married 3 years, decided it's time to start a family. We settled down, we had a home here. But at 8 months pregnant, I also decided to get on an airplane and go to Toronto to visit family.
Mm-hmm.
And then went into labor on the airplane.
Wow, okay.
And my son was born in Canada, in Toronto. And he was born with Down syndrome in Toronto. And that started me on a journey that I talk about in my book of trying to get him legal in the United States.
Oh,
So
okay.
our home was here. It's one thing to immigrate from
Yes.
one country to another. This is a baby. But then again, to have a baby born with a disability in
Yes.
another country.
Yes.
So he fell into an exclusionary class of people.
Okay.
So right away, I was confronted with the discrimination that existed for the disability community.
Okay.
And that changed my life. So I went from being this dancer, model, actress to this crazy disability activist and fundraiser.
Is that what sort of drew you to Opportunity Village? Because you were there as the pillar of their fundraiser for 40 years.
Well, the interesting thing is, very interesting, is that when we moved to Las Vegas, Opportunity Village, I volunteered a lot in town, and I volunteered when I was pregnant. But there was a group called the Celebrity Wives Association, and I was a member
It's
of
not like
that.
the TV show now, is it?
No, it was Celebrity Wives. It was called the Vanguards.
Okay.
And so here I was, pregnant with my firstborn, who was going to be born disabled, and I actually volunteered at Opportunity Village.
Okay.
I volunteered at Special Olympics and a few places. So Chris was born with a disability. It's kind of a long story, but just in a nutshell, it took me 18 years to get him legal, but for about 16 of those years, I actually kept him here illegally. So I harbored an illegal alien in my home while I started to build Opportunity Village.
Okay. And
Yeah.
in case our listeners aren't familiar with Opportunity Village, just give us a little synopsis of what that is.
Sure, it's an organization. It was a very small organization at that time that served people with intellectual disabilities in a day program in an employment training setting. And so, you know, back then, in those days, people with disabilities were considered uneducable and unemployable. So families like mine got together and we said, really? You know, our kids can learn.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so that's how Opportunity Village came to be. And it was a small little place that I thought, well, my son's never going to go there because it was in this dark little place. And I raised about $500 million.
Great. And I
Created
know
a-
how hard fundraising is.
Yes.
You know,
But it's
so that
fun.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That really is a testament to your fortitude. To, I mean, that just says a lot about your sticking to and persevering and moving on. You know, to raise that type of money for an organization that is really a pillar here in the Las Vegas community. So I bow to you for being such an instrumental person within that organization, because it has truly grown. They now have multiple campuses. When I was at the Springs Preserve, I was their corporate representative over there. The Springs Preserve uses Opportunity Villages village employees to do
Yeah.
almost all of their
Right.
I guess the maintenance and things like
Right.
that, and they were wonderful. I mean,
Well,
they were.
it became a model really for the whole country, and maybe even for the whole world. And you know, and I'm very proud of that
Yeah.
role that I played in not just the fundraising, but in the programs,
Mm-hmm.
but also while I was there helping organizations around the country, and that led me to the next journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always out there doing presentations around the country and helping other charities.
So
But-
you were helping with
Yeah.
the business side of it.
Yeah, and you know, because I created the Magical Forest and the
Mm-hmm.
Santa Run and these events, and so it was very easy for me, and so I you know, I started just helping other
Yeah.
organizations create
That's how
signature
we
events.
consultants evolve into what we're doing, and that really makes you a true philanthropreneur. You know, because this whole show is brought to you by the Philanthropreneur Foundation. I'm
Right.
always looking for those people who are being a philanthropreneur, but
Right.
you're also a wealthy teacher. So that's why you're perfect for this show. That's
I'm perfect.
You're perfect. Yes, absolutely. I mean, okay, so Linda, let's talk about your book, because it was truly a journey for you to write this. It's called Unwanted: How a Mother Learned to Turn Shame, Grief, and Fear into Purpose, Passion, and Empowerment. I mean, that's a powerful title in itself. So first, was it hard to write for you?
It was probably the most difficult thing that I have ever endeavored to do. I mean, I think it would be easier to raise another $500 million than to write a book.
Oh, then we need to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. But
Well, and it was raw, and there are places, you know, about my childhood that I was avoiding, and then finally, sort of the early chapters, I wrote them at the end, and then I had this mess, you know, trying to format it, and yeah, it was quite a process, and I was very fortunate in that I had friends who encouraged me. I'm a high school dropout, unlike you. You have a PhD. I have a, you know, out on the streets homeless PhD. And I actually got my high school degree in my early 20s at UNLV.
Okay.
So, you know, I struggled a lot in life, and then didn't value my abilities. And you know, I wrote grants, I wrote thank
That's
yous.
hard writing,
but
too.
writing a book is a whole different thing. And so, so I'm proud of the book, and once I wrote these first few chapters and a few friends read them and encouraged me and said,
Yes,
Linda,
absolutely.
you can write.
yes.
Then I was able to move forward with it. So it's a book of that journey of, you know, what really, my life leading up to being able to deal with having a child with a disability, and then that fight to get him into the country, and then subsequently becoming this, you know, a self-taught dancer, a self-taught fundraiser, and then becoming a really good
Would you call it a
fundraiser.
memoir?
Yeah, it is a memoir
Okay,
of that
okay.
period in my life. And I'm writing another book right now that's just really
Go
about
ahead.
fundraising.
This was so hard, and now you're going to do another one.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
it
yeah.
wasn't that. I'm just talking to the crowd. It wasn't that hard. Okay,
Well, I
she's
think
writing another one.
in this process, I would write chapters and then put those aside. And so I have this whole other book, which is, I'm calling it Confessions of a Sin City Fundraiser.
Okay.
So it's all about fundraising. But this is about
Can I
this
put my
journey.
order in now?
But you know, with Christopher, you know, the love of my life, who I've just recently lost.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, he's, you know, when you have a child with Down syndrome, I mean, the expectations are typically that, you know, they come with a lot of, they're the bravest people in the whole world.
Yeah.
They have Down syndrome, but they have a plethora of other things that come with it. And so Chris, you know, was very ill for very many years, but he always fought through it. And he's like the bravest, the strongest person that I've ever met in my
Absolutely.
life. And folks like him, they deal with things that would bring most of us to our knees.
Yes.
And so, you know, I watched my little guy teach us all. And so, you know, I always say he's a teacher of men. And he certainly changed my life, gave my life purpose. And I had him as my role model every day. I mean, if he could deal with this thing, and he had Crohn's and colitis and
Oh, my.
pneumonia and all of these things, intellectually, he was about a 2 to a 3-year-old.
Okay.
But he accomplished so much. I talk about how he saved a toddler who was drowning in a pool at
Wow.
age 8.
Okay.
He also told Celine Dion to shut up. I mean, how many people can say that?
Oh, well, all right.
But they're the most real
Yeah,
people.
they think and react and do what comes to mind.
Yeah.
Where we have all of these blinders or fences or, you know, well, we better
They're
not do
just-
that. You know,
yeah.
they're open. They're,
who
like
they
you say,
are.
a 2 or 3-year-old will say
Yeah.
anything
Right.
that comes to mind.
It's the
Gut-
great leveler.
Yeah, the gut feeling of how they or a person has impressed them.
Right.
Either not at all
Right. Yeah.
or tremendously.
So how do you, you know, how do you say that this child is not worthy
Yeah.
of coming into a country? Particularly, that's his home, and no, you can't live there. And so I was really fortunate through lots of friends and celebrity friends that I was eventually able to get a sponsor who was Vice President Hubert Humphrey, became Christopher's sponsor. And so Chris came into the country. But when Hubert Humphrey died, we were told to get Chris out of the country.
Oh, wow.
And so we didn't. So all the time that I was building and raising millions of dollars for Opportunity Village, I was harboring an illegal alien in my home.
Wow, and that's so.
And then,
you
yeah.
know, it's so on target. What's happening in the world now? You know.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, it's
with the immigrants.
relevant now, but this is a piece of it that most people have no reason actually to know about. But if
Yeah.
you know, the laws at the time said people exempt from entering the United States as permanent residents are number 1, criminals, number 2, retarded people. That was the language. In Canada, the law said people exempt from entering Canada as permanent residents are number 1, morons, imbeciles, and idiots, and their families. This was the written.
This is written in law.
The written law.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do a whole show on bad language in law.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, well, through Christopher's journey, the language changed, the laws were loosened, but they're still in an exclusionary class
Wow.
of people. So this kind of talks about that, and how he impacted my life in such a positive way, and impacted the lives of so many. And it tells about my finally being able to, through a fluke, at a meeting in Washington, D.C., where I was a speaker at a conference, I happened to sit in that right seat, and a miracle, right before Chris was supposed to turn 18.
Synchronicity and the universe working for you.
You know, 1,800 people in a room, one seat that I happened to sit next to.
Right.
And someone was shouting across the table because it was this terrible band and it was loud. And you know, what happened to your son? And I shouted, I've been harboring an illegal alien in my home for 18 years. And the guy sitting next to me said, what did you say? And I told him my story. He was the head of immigration and naturalization for the country.
Oh.
Happened to sit at that seat right next to him in a room full of 1,800
That was
people.
no, that was meant to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't happenstance. That was meant to be
Yeah.
because you had built such a foundation, such a reputation, such a world of what was you, your son, and what was wrong with what you were doing. You were doing what was right. It was everybody else that was wrong. And so the universe put you where you needed to
Well,
be
I
at
think
that
so.
moment.
And he could have arrested me, but he was the right guy. So he took Chris's paperwork, and so my Christopher became legal on stage at the Hilton Hotel.
Wow.
With Senator Reid, Senator Bryan, Wayne Newton, the Everly Brothers, and the Folies Bergère handing him
Whoa.
his American flag.
And you have a picture of that, right?
I do.
Okay. Well, I'm
It's
going to
in
have
the
to.
book.
Okay. So, see, that was a good lead in. Did you see how she snuck that in there? That was a good promo. If you want to see the picture of Chris's naturalization or being approved as in immigration, you're going to have to get the book. So, you wrote the book, and I understand the proceeds of the book go towards something very special to you.
So I created, as a caregiver, mother for 48 years, I
Right.
have great respect for all caregivers,
Right.
and we're all at some point going to need help.
I've experienced that,
Yes,
absolutely.
right, with our elderly parents, or you know, and there's a caregiver crisis in the United
Yeah.
States. And so I wanted to recognize families, caregivers, professional caregivers, and say thank you, and find ways to thank them by giving them some respite
Okay.
and support. And so my son Jason, my other son, and I created the Christopher Smith Foundation,
Okay.
and all proceeds from the book will go to the Christopher Smith Foundation. And
Wonderful.
the book can be purchased, by the way, because I keep my public relations firm keeps telling me, Linda, tell people how they can get the book.
That's right.
So you can get it online on Amazon, and Barnes and Noble,
Okay.
and all of the traditional.
But you can also get it at lindaslife.com.
.com.
See, I have it right here.
There you go.
That's
So if I'd have forgotten, you would have said that. Right?
oh, it's in my notes right here.
Okay.
Because, yes, we can send people to the big publishers. I'd rather send them to your website,
Right.
so they get more of a feeling
Yes.
of who you are,
Okay.
the why. I'm always interested in the why, and so I will always defer and send the listeners and people that want to learn more to the personal website, which is lindaslife.com, and that's with a S, so it's LINDASLIFE.com.
Yes.
You want to make sure you write that down because they can also purchase the book through your website, right?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
$14.99 for the soft cover, with 100% of the proceeds going to.
Give and buy
Yeah.
$14.95, but also make a
99.
donation on top of that. It's for the foundation. Come on, hey, I don't have a problem asking.
And there's a
Bye.
hardcover that's a little bit more expensive, but that's good. It's okay.
Yeah, and I have connections now. If you want an autograph, I think I can do that.
Yes, I will autograph. I will.
I think I can get an autograph in it. See, she just said it. I have it on tape. We can get you an autographed copy of the book if you buy the book and give a $25 donation.
And there's fundraising tips in there too.
Okay. Oh, fundraising tips
Yeah.
too. You just put it sort of all in there. You know, I want people to really encourage it, not just because of the fundraising and it's going toward a great cause, but because of the value of the content. I'm a teacher, I'm a trainer, and I believe that you must deliver great content. And this is an example. Not only are you a philanthropreneur, you're a wealthy teacher. Because when I see information coming from individuals where they are first openly share it, and to write a book, you're sharing, you're being raw, you're putting yourself out there, your life, your feelings, everything. But then a book makes it so other people can not only access it, not once, but ongoing.
Right.
It can almost become a reference book where they go back. If they need to be encouraged, they can look at it
You will
and
get
think.
that,
And
yeah.
absolutely. So are there like special tidbits in the book that you think are funny, or just a small vignette that you might have put in the book that you...
Oh, there are many. You know, I mentioned Chris told Celine to shut up. And,
And where was that at?
that was backstage, and he he didn't know who Celine was, and he didn't want to be there. He had a perfectly good seat out front, but I wanted him to have a picture with her, and he's standing back there in his little tuxedo back there. And when Celine swooped into the room, hello, hello, he went, shut up. And then I tell a story of him locking David Copperfield in his own bathroom.
Oops.
Yeah. So actually, Chris locked himself in the bathroom and in David Copperfield's bathroom right before the show. It's silly little things like that because, again, these are just real people, and they just don't have that concept of when you're lower functioning.
Yes.
Which my course is of celebrity. We're all a celebrity. You're a celebrity. I'm a celebrity.
Yes, we are.
The grocery
Yes.
store guy is a celebrity.
Yeah.
They sort of generally and love everybody. But I just talk about that life with Chris and all of the things that he teaches us, and that humility, and that we're all part of the human race, and we're all, folks like Chris are more like us than different from
Absolutely.
us. And the takeaway, I hope, is that people will look at kids like my Christopher and welcome them more into their heart, and see them, not see the disability first, but try to reach, meet the person that's inside, and see the human being before you meet the disability.
Well, one thing that I'm really thinking could be a great takeaway from the book is for us as what we call normal function. Now, that's sort of questionable at times for me, but to not take ourselves so seriously. I mean,
Yeah, well, we're all disabled.
right?
In
That's what I
some way
said.
or another. Yeah.
We all have our moments,
Yeah.
but to just not be so serious,
Right.
because there's a whole lot of other things going on in the world that are a whole lot worse
Right.
than what we are going through on a day-to-day.
Absolutely.
And you're taking your life story, evolving it through, the challenges as a youngster, and then raising a son with Down syndrome. You're still here, though. You've been successful,
And the journey continues.
Yeah.
And the path that he laid out for me.
Yes, you've created a legacy for him through the Christopher Smith Foundation. You have created a legacy. And so that's extraordinary, and you should be super proud. That's why I'm so happy you decided to join me on the show today.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here, and now with Chris as my inspiration, I continue as a consultant helping organizations around the country, and here in Las Vegas, I have several people that I help, and I do want to say, I'm not sure when this airs, but on May the 15th.
Okay, it'll be out before then.
It'll be out before that. Is
Absolutely.
the celebration of my Christopher's life.
Okay.
At the Mosaic Church in Henderson, and the community of people that he impacted.
Okay.
Are
So if you want to
welcome.
find that information, you can always go to the Philanthropreneur Foundation's Facebook page. I will post it up there. The show will be posted. It'll be there and on YouTube and things, but I'll have the exact invitation that you sent me on that Facebook,
good.
just to
Okay.
put it out there, just to help you out, That's what we're all about, the Wealthy Teacher Sharing, the Philanthropreneur Foundation.
Well, he deserves a big send-off. I hope you will be there too.
I will
But
try my
for
best.
what he's done for this community and what his life means. There's lots of people going to be there, and celebrities are coming, and
Okay.
I would encourage people to come and celebrate the life of this special young man.
Absolutely. So, once again, I want to thank you for coming on the show, because you have been a wealth of knowledge. You are one of my special wealthy teachers, but you're also a philanthropreneur, being a philanthropreneur. And I'm so happy that you took the courage to share your story, because it's a powerful story that we all can learn from. And I just, stop being so serious, Other people are going through things, and whatever it is, whatever challenge you're trying to go through, push through. You can do it. You can do it. Do you have any final words you want to say? Or let's give your website again. That's
LindasLife.com.
okay?
Yeah.
And as she said, you can find the books on all of the major distributors, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and those. But go to Linda's Life. That's where I want to see your followers read about you, because it has more of your story on there and things.
Well, thank you.
Any
Thank you
last
so-
things?
Oh, I think just be kind, be caring, embrace everyone, talk to people, get to know people. You'll be surprised what you can find and learn in just opening yourself to other human beings. And
I'm going to end with your phrase on your book: have purpose, passion, and empowerment in your life. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great
you.
to have you.
Thank you.
And once again, that wraps up a Wealthy Teacher Show. You can find us on YouTube, and if you want to support us, please go to thephilanthropreneurfoundation.org. We're always looking for support so that we can build capacity in the nonprofit sector with education, awareness, and resources. On our next show, we have some great guests. One is Jerry Merritt, Senior Vice President at Bank of Nevada, and also Kristen Ludlow. You're really going to hear about how she has taken dog food and is really giving back to the community. For the Wealthy Teacher Show, this is Dr. Victoria Boyd. Hope to see you again. Have a great day.